Reincarnation/Samsara, Hindu/Buddh, CSIQ. Imagine life as an endless ocean where each wave represents a lifetime, rising and falling in an eternal dance. This is the essence of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that lies at the heart of Hindu and Buddhist beliefs about existence. In this profound understanding, death is not an endpoint but a transition, like a river flowing into the sea only to rise again as clouds and rain. Each life is connected to previous and future lives through karma, the universal law of cause and effect. Every action, thought, and intention creates ripples that shape our future existences. The ultimate goal in this belief system isn't to achieve a permanent heavenly state, but to break free from the cycle altogether. This liberation, called moksha in Hinduism and nirvana in Buddhism, comes through spiritual enlightenment, realizing the true nature of reality and transcending the illusions of individual existence. What makes this concept particularly fascinating is its understanding of identity. Rather than seeing humans as fixed entities, it views consciousness as flowing through different forms, from humans to animals, even to divine beings, each life offering new opportunities for growth and understanding. This perspective transforms how believers view their current life, seeing it as one chapter in an epic journey of spiritual evolution. It encourages personal responsibility, compassion for all beings who might have been family in past lives, and a profound appreciation for the interconnectedness of all existence. Heaven and Hell. Abrahamic religions. At the core of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam lies a powerful vision of cosmic justice, the belief in eternal realms where souls receive their final reward or punishment. Unlike the cycling worlds of Eastern religions, this is a linear journey with a definitive end. Heaven is envisioned as a realm of perfect harmony and divine presence, where the faithful experience eternal joy and communion with God. It's not just a place of pleasure, but of fulfillment, where the deepest longings of the soul find their answer. Each tradition adds its own beautiful details. Islam describes multiple levels of paradise, with flowing rivers and eternal gardens, while Christianity speaks of the New Jerusalem, where all tears are wiped away. Hell, by contrast, represents the ultimate separation from divine love and goodness. While popular culture often focuses on physical torments, the deeper religious understanding sees it as a state of spiritual anguish, the pain of being cut off from the source of all good. What makes this belief system particularly impactful is its emphasis on moral choice and personal responsibility. Every action in this life has eternal consequences, making each moment pregnant with infinite significance. It presents life as a testing ground where souls demonstrate their true character and commitments. Modern interpretations often wrestle with questions of justice and mercy, exploring whether hell is permanent or temporary and how a loving God relates to eternal punishment. Some traditions have developed concepts like purgatory, adding nuance to this foundational framework.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more topics you love.
Ancient Egyptian journey through the DUAT. Picture the afterlife as an epic journey through mysterious realms of darkness and light, where each soul must prove worthy of eternal life. The ancient Egyptians created one of history's most elaborate and sophisticated visions of the afterlife, centered on the journey through the DUAT, the Egyptian underworld. This journey begins at sunset, mirroring the sun god Ra's nightly voyage through the underworld. The deceased, armed with spells and knowledge from the Book of the Dead, must navigate past fearsome guardians, solve riddles, and overcome various challenges. It's like a cosmic video game where knowledge, preparation, and moral purity are the keys to progress. The climax of this journey comes in the Hall of Mahat, where the heart weighing against the feather of truth takes place. This powerful image represents a complete moral accounting of one's life. Every lie, every misdeed makes the heart heavier. Only those with hearts as light as truth may pass on to eternal life. Successful souls unite with Osiris, becoming part of the eternal cycle of death and rebirth reflected in nature. They can travel freely between the world of the living and the dead, taking any form they desire. This wasn't seen as a distant heaven, but as a perfected version of earthly life. This sophisticated understanding of the afterlife profoundly shaped Egyptian culture, influencing everything from architecture to daily moral behavior. It presents death as transformation, where proper knowledge and moral living are the keys to eternal existence. Norse Valhalla and Helheim. In the cold realms of the north, the Vikings developed an afterlife belief that reflected their warrior culture and harsh environment. They saw not one afterlife but many, with Valhalla and Helheim being the most prominent destinations for the dead. Valhalla, Odin's golden hall, was reserved for warriors who died bravely in battle. Here the chosen ones, called the Einherjar, spend their days training and fighting, their nights feasting and drinking. It's not mere pleasure-seeking, they're preparing for Ragnarok, the final battle at the world's end. This reflects a unique view where even the afterlife is not an end, but a preparation for cosmic purpose. Helheim, ruled by the goddess Hel, receives those who die of illness or old age. Unlike the Christian hell, it's not a place of punishment, but a quiet, misty realm that reflects the solemn peace of natural death. Some sources describe it as cold and dreary, others as simply a different kind of existence. What makes this belief system particularly interesting is how it transforms the tragedy of death into cosmic significance. Warriors don't just die, they join Odin's army for the final battle. Regular death isn't punished, but acknowledged as part of the natural order. These beliefs shaped Viking society profoundly, influencing everything from their approach to warfare to their funeral practices. The complex interplay between different afterlife realms reflects a sophisticated understanding of death's many faces. Of course, Tanensarg. The ancient Greeks saw the afterlife as a shadowy reflection of mortal existence, where all souls, regardless of their earthly status, continued in a diminished form. The underworld, ruled by Hades, wasn't primarily a place of punishment, but a necessary part of the cosmic order. The journey begins with Charon, the ferryman who carries souls across the rivers of the underworld, but only if they can pay his fee, hence the tradition of placing coins on the dead's eyes. This journey itself reflects the Greeks' understanding of death as a passage rather than an end point. Within Hades' realm, souls faced different fates. The truly wicked suffered eternal punishments in Tartarus. The virtuous found peace in the Elysian fields, while most occupied the Asphodel meadows, a neutral realm where they existed as shadows of their former selves. This three-tiered system reflects a nuanced view of morality and justice. What makes this concept particularly profound is its democratic nature. Kings and peasants alike became mere shades. Even heroes found the afterlife unfulfilling, as reflected in Achilles' statement that he'd rather be a living slave than king of the dead. This view of the afterlife influenced Greek culture deeply, encouraging a focus on achieving glory and remembrance in the mortal world rather than hoping for heavenly rewards. It reflects a uniquely Greek combination of realism and cosmic justice. The veneration/spirit world. Across many indigenous cultures worldwide, the line between the world of the living and the dead is seen not as a wall but as a permeable membrane. The ancestors aren't gone, but have transformed into powerful spiritual beings who continue to influence and guide the living. This belief system sees death as a change of state rather than an end, like water transforming into vapor, still present but in a different form. The ancestors remain deeply involved in family life and community life, offering protection, guidance, and sometimes warnings when traditional ways are neglected. What makes this worldview particularly powerful is its emphasis on relationship continuity. Death doesn't end relationships, it transforms them. The dead become intermediaries between the living and the divine, creating a spiritual hierarchy that extends from the newest born to the most ancient ancestor. This understanding shapes daily life profoundly. Many decisions involve consulting the ancestors, and regular rituals maintain the connection between the living and the dead. Special attention is paid to proper funeral rites and remembrance practices, as these ensure the deceased successfully transition to their new role. These beliefs create a sense of continuity and responsibility across generations. The living aren't just responsible to the present, but to both past and future generations, encouraging long-term thinking and careful preservation of traditional wisdom. Chinese Diyu and 10 Courses of Hell. Imagine a cosmic judicial system where every soul must face judgment for their earthly deeds, passing through 10 courts of increasing severity. The Chinese concept of Diyu presents one of the most detailed and bureaucratic visions of divine justice ever conceived. Each court, presided over by its own judge, specializes in different types of sins. Souls travel through these courts like defendants, with punishments designed to fit the crimes perfectly. What makes this system unique is its temporary nature. Most punishments, though severe, aren't eternal. They're meant to purify the soul for reincarnation. The sophistication of this system reflects Chinese governmental structure, where complex bureaucracy manages both earthly and celestial affairs. Each level of hell has its own officials and record keepers, all working within a precise hierarchical system. What's particularly fascinating is how this belief system combines Buddhist karma with traditional Chinese administrative systems. The punishments are graphic and specific. Liars might have their tongues pulled out, while those who wasted food might be forced to eat burning coal. This system also offers hope through the concept of merit. The living can help their deceased loved ones by performing good deeds, creating a continuing bond between the living and the dead, where love and devotion can literally change someone's afterlife fate. Aztec multiple afterlife realms. The Aztecs envisioned not one but multiple afterlife destinations, each tied to how a person died rather than how they lived. This unique approach reflects their belief that death was a sacred moment that determined eternal destiny. The most honored was Tlalocan, a paradise of eternal springtime reserved for those who died by water, lightning, or certain diseases. Warriors who died in battle or sacrifice went to Tlalocan Palanti, while women who died in childbirth. What makes this belief system particularly profound is how it elevated certain types of death to sacred status. A warrior's death in battle wasn't a tragedy but a guaranteed path to glory. Similarly, death in childbirth was seen as a form of battle. Most ordinary people went to Mictlan, reaching it only after a challenging journey through 9 levels. This journey took 4 years, requiring the deceased to pass through dangers like mountains that crash together and winds that cut like knives. These beliefs shaped Aztec society profoundly, influencing their approach to warfare and sacrifice. Death wasn't feared but seen as a transition to a role in maintaining universal balance. CELTIC otherworldtech.org. The Celtic Otherworld, particularly Tír na Óg, Land of the Young, represents one of the most enchanting visions of the afterlife ever conceived. Unlike the stark division between life and death in many traditions, the Celtic Otherworld exists alongside our world, separated only by a thin veil. This realm is described as a place of eternal youth, beauty, and joy where sickness and death don't exist. Time moves differently there. What seems like a day might be years in our world. It's reached through ancient burial mounds across the Western Sea or by following mysterious beings. What makes this concept particularly fascinating is its accessibility. The boundary between worlds was thought to be thinnest at certain times and places, during Samhain, at twilight, or near fairy mounds and ancient sites. This created a sense of the magical existing just beyond ordinary perception. The Otherworld wasn't solely an afterlife destination, but a realm of gods and supernatural beings who could interact with our world. This belief created a rich mythology of heroes who ventured there and returned with tales of wonder. This understanding of the afterlife reflects a Celtic worldview where the supernatural and natural worlds constantly intersect, creating a rich tapestry of possibility and wonder in everyday life. Japanese Yomi and Pure Land. Japanese beliefs about the afterlife blend native Shinto with Buddhist influences, creating a unique fusion of ideas about what happens after death. The ancient concept of Yomi represents a shadowy underworld, while the later Pure Land Buddhism offers a vision of paradise. Yomi is a dark and polluted realm of decay, reflecting ancient Japanese fears about death's impurity. Unlike Western hell, it's not a place of punishment but simply where all dead go. This led to complex purification rituals in Japanese culture to protect the living from death's pollution. The Pure Land Jodo tradition offers a more hopeful destination. Through devotion to Amida Buddha, souls can be reborn in a perfect realm where achieving enlightenment is guaranteed. What makes this particularly democratic is that it's accessible to everyone, not just monks or the spiritually advanced. What's fascinating about Japanese afterlife beliefs is how they've evolved to accommodate multiple traditions. Modern Japanese might have a Shinto wedding, Buddhist funeral, and participate in both ancestral veneration and Pure Land practices, seeing no contradiction. These beliefs profoundly influence Japanese culture, from the architecture of temples and gardens to the Obon festival, where ancestors are welcomed back to visit the living. Uri, African, traditional, ancestral realms. Across Africa's diverse cultures, a common thread emerges in afterlife beliefs. The ancestors never really leave us. They simply step into a different role as guardians and intermediaries between the living and the divine. The afterlife isn't viewed as a distant paradise or underworld, but as a parallel dimension. Ancestors are thought to be deeply involved in family affairs, capable of bringing blessings or misfortune, depending on how well their descendants maintain proper relationships with them. What makes these beliefs particularly powerful is their emphasis on community continuity. Death doesn't end one's membership in the family or community, it transforms it. The deceased become part of a powerful spiritual hierarchy that maintains social order and preserves cultural wisdom. Proper burial rites and ongoing remembrance rituals are crucial as they ensure the deceased successfully transition to their ancestral role. These practices often include elaborate ceremonies and specific ways of speaking about and to the ancestors. Understanding these beliefs helps explain the profound respect for elders in African societies. They are closest to the ancestors and will soon join their ranks. It creates a social structure where past, present, and future are deeply interconnected,